Hello, everybody. I know in our last video, we promised to give you more information about the April 2020 market, and here it is. We're going to talk about prices today. So in real estate. Now, remember on the last video, and if you haven't seen it, you can probably, wherever you're watching this, you can probably go back and find it, or you can go to our YouTube. But you'll remember we talked about how there were fewer contracts in April this year versus last year, but we also talked about how in the last week of April, there were a lot more contracts than versus last year. So all of that pent up demand, all of those buyers came back out. We also talked about, and I think this was a few videos ago, we talked about how the number of new listings is really, the number of new listings did this, but the number of new buyers only did this. So that means the supply went down faster than the demand. And we predicted that we might see, if not stability, that we would actually see an increase in prices. And that's what we've seen. Here's April 2019. You can see lots more transactions here. Here's April 2020, many fewer transactions. So 30%, almost a 30% decrease. I think 29% is the exact number. 29% decrease in transactions. But believe it or not, the median price range went up. The median price range this year for the month was 292. Median price range for 2019 was 278. That's a 5% increase. By the way, that data is over here on these tabs, the sold data. This is all published online. There's a link below. You can get all of this data and click around yourself to play with it if you like. So yeah, we saw the median price actually go up by over 5%. That's a bigger increase than we have been seeing. We've only been seeing 2, 3, 4% in a lot of months here over the last year. So prices have really gone up quite a bit. Let's take a look at how that looks on the curve. So we all know about curves these days, right? So these are all of the homes that sold, plotted out on a curve. Now this is last year. You can see it's kind of a flat curve. You've got a big space here for the under 500. You've got a pretty big space here for under 750. Check out April 2020 this year. Very small compared to last year and smaller here too. So look at this. As a percentage, all of the homes are falling up in this range. So that means all of those more expensive buyers, they're not selling as much, and the median price range, they sell a lot better. Okay, so, and one other thing that's interesting to notice, the luxury priced homes, this is again last year, April 2019, there were 78 homes that sold over 1.5 million. This year, only 37. So the luxury price homes are really not selling well. Now, I don't know yet because we haven't looked at the data. Is that because they're just not selling? Are the sellers trying to sell, but they're failing to sell? Or are people just not putting their house on the market? I suspect it's a little bit of both, but we'll see. If there are questions that you want answered like that, what's happening in the luxury homes or what's happening to days on market, they're down, by the way. Homes are selling faster on average versus last year. But any questions you'd like to see, if you want to see a specific county, a specific city, if you want to compare other specific price ranges, put a comment below. I'm happy to answer your questions and maybe even do a video or run the data. You'll be able to get this data here from me watching these videos a lot faster and a lot more up to date than you will waiting for it to come out in the newspaper or be published by the MLS, because they only do it so often. But the market is changing so fast right now. I want you to have the most current, most up-to-date information so that you can know what to do in real estate. Now, what does this mean for you? What should you do? Well, according to this, here's my take. If you have a house and you're thinking about selling your house, and your house is in this price range right here, let's say 200 to 350, this is a great time to sell. There's so much demand compared to the supply. New listings are just not coming on the market the way they should be, and that means you can name your price pretty much. You're the only game in town. Now, especially if you think you're going to upgrade and you're going to be buying a house in the, let's say, 600s, 500s maybe, I think you're going to have a lot better bargaining power when you're buying. and you're going to have a lot more bargaining power when you're selling. That's like the perfect storm. As a matter of fact, this is what I tell people to do at Christmas time. There's no better time to upgrade and trade up in your house than between Thanksgiving and Christmas, because it's just the best time when the prices are lowest. This is even better though, because there's huge demand here and lower demand up here. So if you're thinking about trading up, I think this is a great time. If you're thinking about buying your first home, or if you're a first-time buyer and you're in this price range, it's still something you want to consider doing, because I'm not sure, based on what we have information from the Great Recession of 2008. By the way, you can go back and look at my video on that. You'll see that in DFW, prices were very stable and they increased through much of the Great Recession. So even though we're going through a really tough economic crisis right here, we have been through one of those before, and in North Texas, housing prices were pretty stable and they actually increased quite a bit. Now, if you're a first-time buyer, what do you have right now? Super, super low interest rates. So low interest rates combined with the notion that prices could keep going up. I mean, they went up in April and the coronavirus pandemic started in March. So people are still out there buying homes. If you're thinking of buying in this price range, waiting might cost you money, both in higher interest rates and higher prices. If you have a house that's in this 700 plus range and you're thinking about selling, or if you know you're going to sell sometime in the next year or two, I would do it right now. If you don't know that you need to sell your home anytime soon and you're in that 700 plus range, I think you should ride it out. I think it will come back. It might be a while, but I think it's going to be a while, and I think there's going to be a lot of competition in this 600 to a million price range. I think it's going to be pretty tough. Now, if you know, I know there's sometimes you have to move and you have to sell, and if that's the case, I'd encourage you to do it quickly, because my prediction is that this upper end price range, and it might even creep down to this 500 mark, I think that's going to get tougher and tougher for sellers as we go farther into the whatever is going to happen with unemployment and the economy and mortgage liquidity. Okay, well, hey, if you've hung in till now, that means you kind of like charts and graphs. I don't always do so much charts and graphs, but I like them. They're fun for me. But not all of our videos are about charts and graphs. Sometimes we have new listings, and sometimes we have some fun real estate news. But whatever you like, if you're in the video this far, please do me a favor. I want to share the news and spread the word, and I really like for people to have the most current data. So if you could do one thing, I'd really appreciate it. Subscribe, share, like. Wherever you're seeing this, please follow it, or whatever platform you're watching this on. Please make sure you either follow or subscribe, and please share the word with your friends by just hitting share, put it on your wall, whatever you do. Hey, my name's Jay Robbins. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. Have a great day.